What's up, guys? Alex Corey here with cultivatedchange.com and Casey Gardens. Haven't done a garden video in a while, and that's just been because everything's been growing and there has been a ton to do. This is going to be a tomato step up or a summer start step up video. If you've never done that before, coming up. So step up just means these have reached the end of the limit of the initial soil they were in. Most people will do tomatoes in a peat-based potting soil just because tomatoes like to be pretty dry and peat dries out well enough. So you know a tomato is done growing in its initial mix whenever you can pull out the entire root ball with the entire root ball. And just to give a test, usually you can give the base a little tug and you'll be able to tell if you're going to tear the base off or if you're only going to get half. It's a feel thing, but you'll tell if you feel the entire thing dislodge or if you're going to just pull the top root systems out. So this is about the size that I will step tomatoes up. That soil they were in was Coco Loco, so it had a good amount of fertilizer, and it's been about 45 February 4th, so it's been 2 months, a little over 2 months, 2 months and a week. So we're going to use Happy Frog. I usually make my own peat-based soil and add some compost and then a little long-term fertilizer, but I just haven't had the time, and these guys need to move up. The entire point of potting up is just to give the root systems more mass to colonize. So we're going to put them in this 18 cell here. This is a little excessive since they're going to go in the ground in about 3 weeks, but it's what I had on hand. So we're going to do a sun gold, a Chadwick cherry, and a yellow pear. I'm going to use Happy Frog because it's got enough fertilizer and it's peat-based, so it'll dry out well enough. And then we're going to use some humic acid. Humic acid is one of the components of compost. It's a humate, so it gives compost and good humus, same derivative word, that's sticky, and it helps just nutrient transfer between the root systems and the microbes that live in the ecosystem around the soil. So happen to have some of this on hand. It was a gift, so we're going to do a little dilution of that at the end. Whenever you're filling, you're going to want to put a good amount of potting soil in the bottom. So basically you want the root systems to have a decent amount of space all around to grow from. So just put a nice base in there. You don't want to fill any of these troughs just because you're going to be putting the root systems in there. So you want them to be comfortably nestled and have room on all sides to grow in. So you don't want to pack the sides or anything, and you don't want to have any cell too deep. So it's kind of a feel thing, but put some on the bottom. This is pretty haphazard just because this is a weird size tray. You can bury you don't need the base of the roots all the way up level because they'll grow in all directions. So whatever makes it easy. And then just make sure if you have different varieties like I do, like this is going to be 18 total tomatoes, so that'll be all my cherries. Make sure you label, just put it out like that. Process is pretty easy. Just make sure to not snap any leaves if they're getting entangled. That's pretty nice looking tomato. And then just dump it in there, hold it firm. It does help if they're wet, and some people will do kelp or a transplant. This is technically a transplant, but because they're not being exposed to anything outside yet, there's no real stress response. They're getting more nutrition, so they don't have the same stress response as they would in the ground. So that's the basic process for one. We'll do a different angle for the rest, but I'm going to put about, say, 2 tablespoons in a bottle, which I have over there, I'll get shortly, and then just water it in with that, and that'll help the roots expand into the potting soil quicker and get some nutrients, and then that'll be like that until they go in the ground. So another 3 weeks to a month. In zone 6B where I am, it is the end of the first week of April, and May 10th is when a lot of farmers will put in their tomatoes, because that's usually well past the last frost risk. And even if it does get down to 32, tomatoes don't like anywhere under 40. Anything under 55 degrees for root system will stunt their growth. So there's no point in putting it in early unless you have a controlled environment, or you're ready to cover, or anything at any whisper of a cold snap. So let's do the rest of them. And they look a little happier. Tomatoes are the princesses of the vegetable world. When you're doing that, if you can, make sure that you plant them deeply enough where they can stand up straight and be held up by the soil. It doesn't matter that much. Some are gonna fall over. And the reason I did a bottom water with the humic acid, it's black and just coats the leaves unless you wash them off. So it's just messy. It's a very sticky substance and stains pretty readily. And tomatoes just don't like a ton of water on their leaves. Since these are heirlooms, they're susceptible to all of the diseases, bacteria, fungus, everything. So try to keep the leaves as dry as you can. I will bottom water, put these in a tray and bottom water since I'm not yet in a greenhouse, but main goal is just to make sure they're sturdy and that the root balls have plenty of room on all sides to grab fresh nutrients from, and they'll go in the ground in 3 weeks to a month, and they will probably have filled this depth of the soil. So we'll do a video putting them in the ground, but until then, build your community, build your resilience. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you found the video of some value. My goal is just to decentralize the food system as much as possible by spreading information that I found useful to growing all sorts of food over my last decade of growing. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a donate link down in the description. I also have an affiliate through True Leaf Market for microgreen and bulk garden seeds below. My social media you can find on the Linktree account. I'll take you to everything I pay attention to. Let me know what you'd like for future videos. Until then, build your community, build your resilience. Thanks for stopping by.